Today, we wanted to show you how to make a classic and maybe my personal favorite dim sum dish, Siu Mai. To get started with Siu Mai, we need some Siu Mai wrappers. As you'll see, these wrappers have a lot of similarities to wonton wrappers, so in a pinch, some store-bought wonton wrappers could also work. But to make your Siu Mai wrappers, start with 250 grams of all-purpose flour and a half teaspoon salt. Then start mixing those dry ingredients together and slowly add in 1.5 thoroughly whisked medium-sized eggs and 50 grams of water. Now, the old school method would stop there, getting a really subtle yellow color from the egg yolk. Some wonton shops still make their siumai this way, but after cooking, the skin won't keep color, and we wanted the same sort of siumai you'd get at dim sum. So we did a deep dive into some cookbooks designed for dim sum restaurateurs, and the secret? Don't shoot the messenger, but it's food coloring. This is egg yolk yellow, which you should be able to find in the baking section of basically any grocery store. Add 2 drops to that water, making sure it's thoroughly mixed, and add that mix to the dough instead. Now leave your dough to mix on speed 1 for 8 minutes. The dough should come together into a smooth, slightly sticky ball. Cover with a damp towel and set it aside for half an hour to let the dough relax. Half hour later, the dough's ready to roll. Take the dough and split it into about 6 even logs. With a pasta maker, pass the dough through on the largest setting. Fold, then pass it through again. We're developing the gluten here, so repeat this process for a total of 5 times. Now we'll split this up to make it a touch easier to work with. Send the dough through the pasta maker at a medium setting. Then send it through again at the thinnest it'll go. Siu Mai wrappers have a round shape, so use a whiskey glass to cut around and make your wrapper. And now we've got some homemade Siu Mai wrappers. Now Siu Mai filling is a mix of shrimp, pork fat, and pork lean. Our goal for the filling is to get a texture that's springy, but still really juicy. To prep the shrimp, first marinate 250 grams of deshelled shrimp using a basic baking soda marinade, which is going to be a half teaspoon salt and a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. We need the shrimp to keep its pop through the cooking process, which this marinade will help with. After 15 minutes of marinating, rinse the shrimp under cold water. You're going to need to do this rinsing for a while, about 5 minutes, until the shrimp turns sort of a whitish color like this guy on the right. What we're doing is removing the glycol protein slime on the surface of the shrimp, which will help preserve the shrimp's crunchiness after cooking. Now give that shrimp a rough chop, dry it thoroughly, and set it aside. The cut of pork that we're using here is the hind leg, aka the ham of the pig, which has a nice mix of lean and fat. Cut 125 grams of fat into a nice small dice, set it aside, and do the same with 335 grams of lean. Now soak the lean in some cold water for about a minute or so to get the blood out. Once the water's got some obvious red color to it, switch out the water and soak again. Repeat this process 4 or 5 times until the pork has a whitish color and the water runs clean. Then, just like the shrimp, dry out that lean, even wringing it out if you have to. Now, to the lean, we'll add in a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda mixed with a half teaspoon of water, or alternatively use 2 grams jianshui if you got it. Mix it thoroughly, then add in the shrimp. Give that a mix, then add in 10 grams of salt. We're going to keep mixing this until it becomes sticky and uniform. What's happening is that the water-soluble proteins in the meat are breaking down and restructuring with the help of the salt. You can tell it's sticky enough once it starts to leave streaks along the sides of the bowl like this. Now, to develop springiness, take that mixture and dot it. One of the more fun techniques in Chinese cooking, just continuously slam the meat against the bowl 10 times or so. Now we can season this. Add in a tablespoon and a half sugar, a half tablespoon chicken bouillon powder, a half tablespoon white pepper powder, a half teaspoon MSG, and 2 teaspoons light soy sauce. Give it a good mix, then add in your fat. We've also got 6 dried shiitake mushrooms that we reconstituted and diced, so add in those as well. Combine, Then add in 40 grams of melted lard to coat the mixture. The reason we added the fat and lard last is that the oil would have inhibited the development of that sticky texture we achieved earlier. And now, we're ready to wrap some siumai. We're going to be steaming these on a sliced carrot and topping with some fish roe and a whole extra shrimp. Siumai aren't too bad to wrap. Just put the wrapper between your thumb and finger and take a good chunk of filling and press it down into the wrapper. Roll it into a bit of an even log shape, making sure the filling reaches the very top of the wrapper, because any wrapper that's above your filling will end up drying right out while steaming. Then top that guy with a shrimp and your roe, and your siumai is ready to go. Work through the siumai, and then these are good to steam. Now we're steaming these in bamboo steamers. You could use whatever setup you like. The important bit is just to make sure that the steam can circulate up from the bottom of the steamer. With some water at a heavy boil, steam these for 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, the moment of truth, your siumai are done. They might have been a bit of an effort, but so worth it.
I hope you can try this dim sum classic. Check out the red link in the description box for detailed recipe and subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.